The cybersecurity industry has a lot of problems. Whether you're a student or professional, you're going to see these issues sooner or later. But there's one problem that I don't hear a lot of people talking about that's a huge cause of burnout. That is what I'm calling, for the sake of this video at least, the educational industrial complex. This is not a video against educating yourself. You absolutely have to learn to get into this industry and to stay in. But there's a difference between working smart and working hard, especially whenever it comes to education. The problem I believe this industry has is a cultural confusion between working smart and working hard educationally, and that creates a sense of competition and inferiority depending on where you're at in your career. Here's how it all works. There's a real and genuine need for education in cybersecurity. The depth of knowledge you need to have just to get your foot in the door is vast and expansive, and often extends far beyond simple security concepts. There are a few main ways to get that education, whether it's with a college degree, a certification, a boot camp, or a raw work experience. There are also pros and cons for each and every method, but ultimately you need to have a base level of education either way. Here's where it starts to go downhill. Each method, with the exception of raw work experience, costs money, some methods more than others. College will typically be the most expensive path, costing thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. Next are boot camps, which often combine classes and tutoring as well as a certification at the end. Finally is just the certification, which is still oftentimes hundreds of dollars even just for the cheaper certifications. Not only will these put you out some money, but they'll cost you time and studying. That's time that could have been spent working and earning money, or on doing other things that also pay you in non-monetary ways like exercise, hobbies, or being with your family. Again, there's really no negotiating with it. You have to get the education somehow. So the main thing that you have to do when you're just starting is to research these paths and identify the one that is best for you. It's once you've gotten educated that you begin to see some of the problems. Education is expensive, and education providers can stand to make a lot of money. That's why you'll see people create boot camps that cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars and still have a lot of people pay for them. If the education is good, then it's worth it. But if it's bad, then it could be considered a scam. Even if the education is good, some providers hike their costs specifically to target businesses, not the individual. Meaning that if you want access to the education that they provide, you'll have to go through your employer because the cost is so high that you cannot or you should not pay for it out of your own pocket. That happens with both certifications and boot camps, which often go hand in hand, as many of the certifications hit on such specific and specialized material that you really need a domain expert to teach it because it's so hard to actually grasp the material on your own. For college, you can go get your undergraduate degree and come away with some good knowledge, but the quality of each school's cybersecurity program varies school to school. You could spend tens of thousands of dollars on an undergraduate degree that only teaches you the concepts with no hands-on material, which ultimately leaves you less competitive than people who worked on just getting a certification. If you chose to go back to get a master's, a step that is often seen as a requirement to progress your career to the upper management positions, you'll again have to foot thousands or tens of thousands of dollars unless you can get it paid for or sponsored by your employer. So education is absolutely needed, but it is expensive, and in more ways than just monetarily. It costs time, and there's the added stress of an exam. And all of that is layered onto having a full-time job, which carries its own stresses. Once you get your base level of education and start working, you'll quickly learn that you need to continue your education. The phrase that's often used here as an incentive is that if you don't, you'll fall behind. Heck, even in some of my past videos, I've used this language as well. This creates a pressure almost immediately after you start working to get going on your next level of education, whether it's another certification, boot camp, or degree. And if your employer isn't willing to cover the costs, you may have to foot the bill yourself so you can get that certification or degree and make the jump to another job. This pressure fuels the education industrial complex. We've already shown how and why it's highly profitable and why it won't be starved of future customers. A lot of the time, the educational industrial complex isn't even a bad thing. It sounds scary, but it doesn't have to be. Again, we need to be educated, and that's what it gives us. It's the times where we are pressured to continue even when we don't have a clear personal plan or goal that it could become an issue. This is what I've been thinking about a lot these past months. I've been working in the industry for a few years now, working in roles I didn't originally want for myself, but taking them with a mindset to learn. When looking at all the options, I've had to go deeper in my self-assessment and ask, why am I working and why would I learn something new? I've continued learning new things daily since starting. However, lately, a lot of those things haven't been work-related. For instance, I've learned a lot about how to make videos and how to edit, and I've found that I'm very passionate about doing these things. I think everybody needs to ask why they are working and why they want to learn new things. If you want to learn new things because the field excites you, then by all means, carry on and do your thing. If you're learning out of fear of falling behind, ask yourself what falling behind even means. Your career is your career. This is a lesson I'm still trying to wrap my mind around myself. Still, you're falling behind only if you set a timetable or time-based goal for yourself. If others are saying you're falling behind and they have no insight into your goals, then think critically on what they're comparing you to before worrying about anything. No, this is not an excuse to be lazy. This is a reason to be more considerate of your own path and to have grace with yourself on your journey. So here's something I'm going to leave you with, and I'm going to pull this from Davin Jackson at Alpha Cybersecurity. Ask yourself, what is your why? What is your why with why you work? What is your why with why you want to be in this industry? And what is your why with why you want to learn new things? With how broad this industry is, you'll see that things do quickly narrow down whenever you ask these questions. I've been asking myself these questions, and it's left me asking whether I even want to stay in the industry at all. When you work through this, don't sell yourself short. If the answers make you expand the scope of the questions that you're asking yourself just to get clarity, then run with it. It may even take you back into the educational industrial complex to get educated on something new. And if so, then that's fantastic. The worst thing that you can do for yourself is to not ask yourself these questions. If you found this video helpful, leave a like. It really helps out this channel. Leave a comment with your why if you feel down to share, as well as any other comments that you may have. Until next time.